Hello, friends, and welcome to a brand new podcast. A brand new pod. I've actually just put a post on the channel, a community post, which I hope you guys do read because it'll have all of the details, into this new podcast, which is Beans World Pod. And in this, there isn't a lot. It's very different to the Beans Cast. The Beans Cast are the live catch-up video. Well, I say live catch-up videos. They have a lot of stuff in. This is going to be different because it will have literally just a little sort of generic kind of waffly kind of things, if you want that kind of stuff. And I decided, basically, the reason of me doing this podcast was I wanted to get back into radio again. And unfortunately, radio is kind of dying a death. Normal mainstream radio is just poo. They play poo all the time. They don't play poo all the time, but the idea is they've stole from buskers. So they probably think, oh, well, they haven't heard that song. They need to play it like 3,000 times a day because Joe Bloggs in his car driving by hasn't heard Michael Jackson 3,000 times a day or something stupid like that. And also, talk radio is just crap. They talk crap. And I mean, I talk crap, but I think when you, say, for example, say you put Radio 4 on, is either the Archers or the news. I know there's Radio 4 Extra and all the rest of that, but I'm talking your general radio stations, your general, terrestrial stations you have. And they don't play anything new. And, yeah. And podcasting has become the norm now for a lot of, if you want talk, you listen to podcasts, or there are music podcasts out there as well. I'm doing those on my other channel. I've spoke at length about that on my Facebook channels. So yes, and what I wanted to do with this podcast is do something very different with it. Because there's the Tales from the Vaults, which will come to an end, unfortunately. There'll just be a series of podcasts because there are audio podcasts, Tales from the Vaults. And I am still bringing Tales from the Vaults stories over here, but I do think that there just isn't, there isn't. I think the Tales from the Vaults are more geared to me and the little handful of imaginary friends and so on and so forth. So that's literally where that kind of came about. And the book, which will soon be, that'll soon happen. I'm not sure entirely when, but anyway. And I just thought, at some point there will be funds out there to make the podcast a better, and so on and so forth. At the moment, though, I'm using a fantastic app which is free of charge. It's called Boss Jock Jr. I have done a tutorial on my other channel. Go check it out. I know there's people are saying, oh, can you show me more? Can you show me more? But it doesn't really do much more. There's Backpack Studio, which is its bigger brother. But even that doesn't do as much. The Backpack Studio has a little bit more to it. But Boss Jock Jr. just does. And to be honest with you, once you've done what you've done, say you've recorded your podcast and all the rest of it, then you put it into other applications and you can do bigger and better things with it. To be honest, I use it for YouTube because YouTube is king of video platforms, and we watch videos and we listen to audio now. But that's been going for years, hasn't it? It's got every audio book you want on there, except for certain ones. But then again, it's a very different thing. So what I wanted to do was the Beans World 77 podcast being a free audio book of sorts. I don't know. I know on my other channel, people have said, please, could you do a book at bedtime? Because I've joked about that in my vlogs, and I sort of stole that from Lemmy, got a book, it's bedtime, but I've not got a book and all the rest of that. I've done that a few times in my vlogs on my other channel. But I thought, well, I can't really do a book at bedtime because, one, I'd have to put it out at bedtime. Two, I don't know every bedtime in the world that people go to bed at. Bedtime in the UK could be, for example, 10 or 11 p.m. That could be somewhere else in the world. Someone could be getting out of bed or eating their dinner or going out somewhere. So really, a book at bedtime doesn't really sound... how can you put it? Because you can listen to this whenever you want. You can listen to this when you're running. You can listen to this when you're in the car. You can listen to this when you're doing your washing. You can listen to this wherever, I just think you can listen to this wherever. This is a kind of a sit and listen. It's not like the other videos where you have to watch what's going on. Technically, it's not like old-fashioned YouTube where people would look away from the screen and the person doing the YouTube video would have to say, oh, no, a lot of the gaming YouTube videos, people had to put a bit of effort into, commentating a bit what was going on so people could, because they realize, YouTube, we can do other things. And to be honest with you still can. I know PewDiePie, is it PewDiePie? I can't remember, the big YouTubers that still does it, commentates and all the rest of it. So what I thought I'd do with these podcasts is not talk about the channel, because that's what I do on my other channel, and not talk about how to make YouTube videos, because, again, I do that on my other channel. However, in this podcast, I will do that because this is the first podcast. So with this being the first podcast... this will be a guide to making your channel, why I made a secondary channel, why I pushed this channel, and so on and so forth. Now, the first thing you need to do when you get your YouTube channel going, when you've done about 2 or 3 videos, that's the thing they don't tell you in these YouTube guides. Do your videos first. Get your channel sorted second. Another thing to do, brainstorm to yourself. Sit down at a laptop, open up a Word document. Write a list of things that you want to do for your channel. And then write a list of what you want to do on your channel. It could be 2, 3, 4 things. Now, the main rule on YouTube is you can do as many things as you want on your channel. However, if you really want to get into a niche of YouTube, then you have to stick to 1 or 2 things. With this channel, we have 3 things. We've got pretend and play, we've got car walkarounds, and we've got toy reviews. The imaginary friends thing is just something that sort of comes now and then. My other channel is vlog stuff, my pretend business, and music appreciation we can do. But I did too many things with the other channel. At one go on one channel. This channel, I kept to 3 things. So that's the another thing as well is to think of your audience every time you do a video. Who's this video for? right? And in fact, my first video, long story short, my first video on this channel was my second video, because my first video was a short, because this channel was supposed to be for my pretend business, but it was supposed to put adverts on and guides and tutorials. It never had that in the end because it changed. And I wanted to do, what it was, my cousin, she was looking for a toy for somebody. And she found this, she knew about my other channel, but didn't know about this channel. So then when she found the channel, she didn't know it was me. And that was brilliant. Because this channel is a completely different entity. However, we are trying to get this, is me, excuse my tummy rumbling. Shut up, tummy, I'm trying to do a video. In fact, what time are we on? Yeah, I've only got, quarter of an hour. So anyway, so then when you do your video, you think of your audience. It's your main thing. Who are you doing this for? If you're doing it for adults, well, that's fine, because you can be open a little bit. When I say open, you can open yourself up a little bit to your opinions can be a little bit controversial-ish, if you want. Yeah, for young adults or younger audiences, especially children, we'll come to that in a second. Say if it's a YA audience, so we'll say 12 to 18. It can be slightly controversial, but you got to hold back on it. You got to be PG. So you've got to dumb down on the swear words a little. You got to dumb down on that kind of thing. So you got to turn that down a little bit. And because there'll be parents watching. And if you are doing a video where it's for adults or YA audience, please don't start your video with an F-bomb. I know people still do. They start, the very first thing they'll say, and it's always in gaming videos, would you believe? There is an F-bomb right there. First thing they're going to say is an F-bomb. Unless you're the angry video game nerd. The angry video game nerd, I mean, there's a thing as well. If you're going to swear in a video, this is a little note. Swear in the correct places. Now, there's never a great time to swear, but if you're going to swear 20, 30 minutes in. Also, have a point to why you're swearing. If it's a game, why are you swearing? Why is that F-bomb there? James Ralph describes, and this is what I find funny about James Ralph. He will, in his early videos, he would describe why that F-bomb's there. Why this game has made him swear so much. Or why this game is so anal. And he'll say that. And he'll describe it. And that's what I find fantastic about James Ralph. He's apologising, but not. And that's what you need to do. If you're swearing, you need to have a reason into why you're swearing, because it makes it more entertaining. And if there's parents watching, it's like, oh, sorry. If you're Stuart Ashen has been very sneaky about swearing in his videos. He'll do it, like I say, watch Stuart Ashen. He swears in the correct places. I think he scripts it. I know he doesn't, but I think because if you've been doing YouTube for years and you'll swear in all the correct places, obviously if you've chopped your finger off, or if something surprises you or something, you're not going to say, oh, jings or whatever. But now, children, when you're thinking of the children, you cannot swear at all. And this is when you need to script your video up to the latter, or think. If you're in radio, you don't swear at all, and you've just got to remember not to swear. It's difficult, but then it comes automatic. There's one funny moment when I was working for McGull Radio. It was quite funny, and we'd made a mistake, and there's two mistakes. One was we'd messed up completely. I think it was the wrong button, and I nearly said something. I thought James had done something, then I accidentally, I managed to stop myself. And then there was one time we were doing the football, and I said, Everton is a load of shrapnel. And Alan Todd at the time was pooing his pants. I always used to make Alan panic, but that was one of Alan panicking moments, the best Alan panicking moment ever. Because he's like, I thought, when the record came, I was like, well, what did you think I was going to say? I did practice my assumptions before I made them. It was always when we were doing football scores. What was the other one that I did? I think, that ball went right up his, I can't remember what it was, but it was clean. And again, I only did it when Alan Todd was nearby, because it was to make Alan panic, and it worked. You have to think like a radio presenter. You're not allowed to swear at all on a kid's video. Made for kids, because also as well, another thing, what the algorithm will do, the algorithm will curse you for it. If you swear on a made for kids video, and I know a lot of people have done it, your views will just go down and down and down. That's how it works. So yeah. Now, why I'm talking about swearing, goodness grief, can't believe I'm giving people advice here. There are certain words that you're not allowed to say on YouTube, and they're not the F or the S words. They're one is an S word actually, and the other is a blur word. Would you believe? It rhymes with muddy. You can't say that on YouTube. However, I have done on my other channel. But you can't say those words on YouTube. And, there are certain things you can't do if you want your channel to survive and thrive. But I'm sure there's other YouTubers that talk about it better than me. Go watch those channels, because they will educate you far more than me. So back to talking to children. Now, when I would say watch a few kids shows from the 90s, best one to watch is The Sooty Show. And I would say watch the ones with Richard in. Don't watch the Matthew Corbett ones, because you have to dumb it down for children. You really have to talk in a, ooh, it's a silly hello children, and oh, look who's come at the door, and all that kind of, ooh. And you have to put this fun and frolic vibe on when you're making videos for kids. Obviously, I've made videos for kids, but I've not put that voice on, unfortunately. But apparently, if you want to have more children watching your videos, you have to have that that voice, that, like I say, I'm more of a Matthew Corbett. And yeah. And I always liked, I don't know what it was, I always liked the grumpy adults in the kids' shows. I think because they didn't treat children as if they were dumb, and they didn't treat the platform as it was dumb, if it was dumb. Matthew Corbett being a classic example. There is another amazing presenter that I can't think of hand, which did the same justice as Matthew Corbett. And the problem is, these presenters get, I don't know, they get thrown into directions they don't want to go to and all the rest of it. And Matthew Corbett, his name's not actual Matthew, I've forgotten his actual name, but it's funny because he's done interviews and you're thinking, wow, this guy's an amazing guy. So he was an amazing children's presenter. And what I liked about Matthew was when he got cross, wow, it was like, gosh, when you were a child, you think, yeah, you go, crumbs, what have they done now? And when you're an adult, you sort of sympathise with them. And I don't think there's any, they kind of went more down the Richard route. But anyway, again, when you're doing, crumbs, when you're doing YouTube videos, the more descriptive you are watching, doing the videos, the more viewers you'll get. Because I know a lot of blind and visually impaired use YouTube. But also, there are people that want to do chores while they watch a YouTube video. And so the more descriptive you are in your YouTube video, the better that is. There used to be a fantastic gaming channel, which is no more. And I used to love watching it. And the guy that did it, he sounded like a sports commentator. He really got into the game that he was playing. I think it was one of those shitty first-person games. I think it was Fortnite or something like that. But it was amazing. And it was brilliant because he really, really got into it. When he got angry, he never shouted. I don't think he got angry. But he wasn't these shouting at the game. I think he more had that football commentator approach to it, which was great. And he treated it like a sporting event. Whether he's a commentator for E-League Sports or whatever, I don't know, 'cause there's been quite a few YouTubers that have gone over to do that kind of event. But anyway, now, so enough on how to do videos. I'm sure another thing as well is I think a lot of people want to know what camera equipment to get. Don't bother buying fancy cameras and microphones just yet. You already have a camera on your phone. Laptops come with cameras. iPads come with cameras. Gaming consoles come with cameras these days. So yeah, whatever you can film on, use that. Don't bother buying a fancy camera just yet, unless you need to. Same goes for the microphone. I'm actually plugged in, but the microphone is actually coming from my iPhone, and it does just fine. I know it's not very loud, but again, you don't really need a fancy microphone just yet. And I always think that if you polish your turds too much in the beginning. When you try to polish that turd later on, it just isn't polished enough, is it? It just becomes, your videos go a lot more poor. We've seen that. We've seen people polish those turds and videos just become, they just become, they're not very interesting in my eyes. Sorry, I'm just watching the time. I'm going to go about 2 o'clock-ish at the late. Anyway, where were we? We were talking about equipment. Use a microphone on your phone, whatever it is, as long as your video is exciting and watchable, and the sound quality isn't too bad. I mean, there is a limit to how bad your sound quality can be and how good your picture quality and everything like that. But as long as it's good, as long as you're getting your points across and it's clear, then your video will reach 200, 300 views. I mean, I haven't got a tripod, for heaven's sake, and yet some of my videos look a bit seasicky. However, because I'm describing what's going on or trying to describe what's going on, then people get it and love it. Same with the other channel, but that's another story. And yeah, so yeah, and here's another thing, right? Once you've got all that to grabs, the last thing is to upload that video on the channel. Now, to promote the channel, you don't need a fancy website. There is social media out there, because social media is your friend for the most part. Now, I would use Facebook to start with, because it allows you to build a page on there. And also, if you make a video for kids and you want comments on it, you want feedback, Facebook is your friend for that. And again, if you get more followers on Facebook and more followers on YouTube, you then build this, you build up this you realize that the people on Facebook are much more of a cult following. They're going to subscribe to you at some point. And so that's, yeah. Now, a lot of people says, oh, don't tell people about your YouTube channel. It's all like 0 subscriber thing and it'll build. Well, it all depends what you want to do with your YouTube again. It really does. And how quick you want to push your channel. Now, here's a tip. If you want to get 50 subscribers in your first year, right, or just about 52 subscribers, we got, over here on Beans World 77, we got up to, by the end of our first year, we got 220 subscribers by the end of the first year on YouTube. My other channel barely got that in the end of its first year. I think it got about 16 subs at the end of its first year in YouTube. Excuse me. But now the little hack of the shorts, and people say, oh, well, wrecking your, building shorts, wreck your channel if you're not careful. Well, I would say that most of the people came for the shorts, I'm going to say. And the rest of people came for the long form videos. But I can't say that for the other channel, because it's now at 150 subscribers, which has taken such a long time. It's taken 10 years for that. So to see it soar, the other channel soaring and soaring, and I'm really, to be honest, I mean, this channel was I experimented on the audience for its first year, and to be honest, 220 subscribers for its first year. It's now at 240 subscribers. 240. So, 225 5. So that's not bad for this channel, really. And people coming over, they're gonna come in. Obviously they're coming for whatever videos that they enjoy. But to be honest, this channel is very difficult to keep on doing the certain things. Anyway, so yeah, Facebook's king, Instagram, TikTok. You know which things to use, and obviously use the ones that you think is going to be comfortable for you to use. But I would start with a Facebook page because it's free, costs nothing. You don't have to pay to put it on a server. You just get it out there and whatever. So my last little bit of advice as a YouTuber is to carry on doing the videos. If you look at my main channel, I have over 2,000 videos on there. This channel, I've got about 400 or 500 videos. Because when I started this channel, I was doing a lot of videos in the beginning. And I already had a lot of stuff to do. We had the toy closet, if you remember. That was a little project which never got finished in the end. There's a long story behind that, which, yeah. And then we had the car walk-arounds, and we had toy reviews. We had the VTech ones. We had the V-Smile, which went... and I gave my sister that little console thing. And later on, I showed my nephew this channel, and he wasn't interested in that video, and he kept telling me to do gaming videos, and there was gaming videos on this channel, and there are a couple more coming on it, but I think they wanted stuff like Roblox and Minecraft, which is not what this channel's about, to be honest. But yeah, and there's Gran Turismo gameplay, so there are gameplay videos on here that just aren't the ones that you are after, and there are plenty of YouTubers that do them, so there you go. And I've done a couple of gameplay videos quite recently, if you've not seen them. Space Invaders. I did 2 videos on Space Invaders. So yeah, but the problem is when you do those type of videos, it then becomes slop in my eyes. And there's plenty of slop on this channel. Too much for my opinion. But we got some good videos and videos which I think people enjoy. So, yeah. So I'm going to now finish this podcast, is what I'm going to actually talk about on these podcasts. I think my next podcast I'm going to do is talking about just some generic stories, some are around my imaginary friends, some that are around general stuff that's happened, some about kind of great outings and stuff, adventures that I've had, great adventures if I've had them. But yeah, and so that's kind of what I wanted to do. Another thing as well is people do ask, and they do ask pretty well, to be honest. They do ask, right? They ask me to do political autism videos, which I'm keeping to the channel. Not ready for this channel. So because this is kind of more lighthearted and entertaining and stuff like that, I wanted to do kind of more just things that I'm interested in, you know? And I did want to do kind of, I don't know, kind of things that really intrigue me and stuff like that. And one of the things that does intrigue me, like I want to do a podcast. Well, here's the thing. What we're going to talk about in the next episode is things that scared me as a kid. So like, you all know about that. But one of the things that scared me as a kid was there used to be a show called The Rugrats, and there was this one episode called I'm Not Tommy, and I just remember that was like a Freddy Krueger type for kids, man. That was like, wow, is there going to be a killer Tommy in this episode? But I just knew it went pretty wacky, and I think it's called In the Dreamtime, but I just remember I'm not Tommy, and then another scary moment when I was a kid was there used to be when I was I was growing up a little bit more. I think I was about 14, 15. Me and my friends, we used to scare ourselves with tape recorders. What we used to do is we would record something and then we'd slow it down. And we had a contest each week. We would play stuff and we had these dictaphones and we'd slow them down and we'd do scary voices. And one of my friends one week, he got this music from the Turkish Delight advert. And I said, I wonder what it would sound like if we slowed it down. And we slowed it down. We turned the lights out. And we scared ourselves silly with this music. The Turkish Delight advert. I think those chords are... When I listen to it now, I wonder what's so scary about it. But it's that dark... fresh Turkish Delight. Yeah, it's but it's not the voice, for me it was the music, it was the chords. It went from this da 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 boom boom boom, and it was that dark bit that I thought, wow, and I was into metal at that point, so that got me into gosh, scary music. But I still can't, listen to that ABBA thinking, gosh, we scared ourselves stupid with that. That was in the days before internet screamers. But speaking of screamers, there used to be on Sky, there used to be video games. There used to be some video games channels. One was Sky Game Star, and the other was... what was it? Play Jam. Anyway, but there was one thing that you clicked on it, and it was it was if you wanted to buy something, whatever. But I do remember there was on Sky Game Star. There was a game where you I think it was called Sea Battle, can't remember, and you were in a submarine thing and you had to shoot these ships. You had a gun, and you were in this submarine, flying around in this submarine. And anyway, when it came to... Now, for a lot of these games, when it came to pay for it, like, you got, like, a free trial. And then when you got past a certain level, it would get to pay for it. And I never got past a certain level. But this one day, out of all days, I'd passed a certain level, and this sound, it would like an alarm, and oh gosh, I was like, okay, this will make you pay for it, but it works. It was like, gosh, yeah, right, back up. It was like, but man, that scared me the first time I saw that. Another thing as well, right? I don't know if anyone remembers. So this is kind of creepypasta-ish. I don't want to do too many because I want to leave it for the next episode of when we do this. But there used to be a place called the Funhouse in Southport, and it had stairs that moved and bridges that moved and slides and all the rest of it. It had the tubes that went around. But there was this one really cool thing that didn't creep me out, but I loved it. It had this creepy clown thing. Oh no, sorry, that's not the thing that creeped me out. The thing that creeped me out, right, was the mirror at the Stootley Hotel. Now, I'm not frightened of mirrors, but I used to hear this tale. There used to be a massive mirror at the end of the treadmill. And I heard stories of people on the treadmill going through the mirror. And as a kid, I thought, can they go into the mirror? Can I actually go through it and go into the mirror? I thought, what's on the other side of that mirror? And I had dreams of this mirror. And Stootley, this is back in the day when kids there was no age limit to go into a gym. You could actually walk into a gym, and you could just walk around it, and obviously common sense went into play. I just used to go on the bikes. I never bothered with the treadmill because you used to put tokens in the treadmill, but I never really bothered with it. I used to go on the rower. There used to be a machine that I used to call the rock and roller, which was you put your legs on these like rolling things and you'd roll them out. And that was good. That was fun. But we used to go on the bikes. We used to play on the bikes. The exercise bikes. And, and we used to do all these other bits and pieces. We'd go on the... we went on the... whatever the other machines they had. They used to have dumbbells and that, but I knew, as a kid, weightlifting, you never used to need to do, it's kind of, you'd watch other people do it, you think, wow, gosh, can they lift that weight? And they'd lift it, and God, look at them big, strong people lifting these weights. And anyway, but the end of the treadmill, there used to be this mirror, and the illusion was, because the mirror was in a position where it looked like the gym was just going on and on and on, that mirror, it was massive. And it was huge. And it was like, for a kid, it was like the biggest mirror I'd ever seen. It was massive. And what I used to do sometimes was I used to stand in front of the mirror. I used to stand on the stepper, because to get to this mirror, I used to stand on the stepper, lean over and look at myself through the mirror that way. And I could see everything behind me through this mirror. So anyway, I used to think that the mirror opened up and would like swallow you. So I did think that. I thought, how are people getting... But then I thought, this mirror doesn't open. And I remember one day when the gym was empty, I remember sort of thinking, right, I'm going to feel this mirror to see if there's a way of opening it. And the girl behind the bar, she said, what are you doing? What are you doing? I think she thought I was going to turn something off in the gym or whatever. And I turned around to her and said, how do I get through this mirror? And she said, don't be silly. She was a bit annoyed. I think she was kind of had a long shift. And I thought, right, that was the wrong woman to ask. And so I always used to ask people, I said, is there a way to get through this mirror? People used to think, goodness grief, shut up, kind of thing. But I realised later, when I did hear stories of people going through the mirror, it was because they actually fell into the mirror, or that's the phrase. But as a kid, I actually thought there was a way into the other side of the mirror, and I thought, how am I going to get into this mirror? What's inside? Is it creepy on the other side of the mirror? But I still talk. Sometimes I talk to my big sister about that mirror, and she's like, "Oh gosh, I was scared of that mirror." We were both scared of that mirror for obvious reasons. Then the other thing that was, not, I wouldn't say scary, but there used to be in the Stoutley, where the sunbed room was, there used to be a door, and I found out that door just led to the boiler room, or I think it was like a private room or something. I can't remember. Anyway, but there used to be the toilets, and then there used to be a smoking machine and another machine where you can get things out of. And so we walked past those machines. Then, if you went all the way through to the back, there was this door, and to this day, I never found where that led. But someone told me, it just leads through to the boiler room, to the boiler cupboard. So that's what we were told. So yeah. Yes, I've got some great little stories like that. Another thing that scared me as a kid, growing up, was in the Trafford Centre, they had a huge crocodile. And I don't know why it was an animatronic. So I used to keep saying to my dad, can this hurt me? No, Stephen, it cannot. It's an animatronic. Right. Okay, it's an animatronic. But when that thing moved, I always moved. I thought, gosh, that's going to get me. It's going to grab me. But it was huge. It's not in the Trafford Centre anymore, so I don't know what they've done with that crocodile, but it was brilliant. And it was in like what I remember was it was in a water feature, and sometimes it would sleep and sometimes it wouldn't. But I think my dad caught on to that. I was scared of it because he stopped taking me to see it, because I kept moving back from the barrier, because it would come to the barrier and it'd lift its head. But then the last time I saw it, I wasn't with my dad. I was with some friends because they had some arcades through there. And I remember seeing the crocodile, but it didn't move as much. It didn't move its head as much. So I don't know why. Maybe someone decided to hit it or something. I don't know. I don't really care. But yeah, it was in the Trafford Centre, and I just brought that up now because I just remember it. So yeah, I've just got one more story that I want to tell. Because it's kind of, I think people kind of know about it, but people don't. Two things. These are two small little things now. The first one is a Teletubbies episode that had the lion and the bear in. Now, I remember that episode, and I was not very well. I think I had a cold or something at the time, and I was between wake and sleep, and you know when strange things happen. And I woke up and this episode was, I thought, hold on, what's going on? Right. And then the second thing is, excuse me. And the second thing is in so yeah, there used to be I was playing this puzzle game on the PS1. I can't remember what it was called. And I remember I had some creepy music for it. Really cool music. I thought, okay, right, this isn't too bad. But as you get kind of further towards this piece, this thing comes out and screams, yeah, quit the game quick. There are probably other things. The witch in Granny's Garden was scary. I remember we played Granny's Garden at school, really cool game. And the witch came out, and I remember first time seeing that on screen, and the noise, and it was like a siren going off, and I was like, oh man. In the end, I absolutely loved getting the witch on Granny's Garden. I remember when we played Granny's Garden, I was like, get the witch, get the witch. But, yeah. And on Hopper, I know this isn't scary, but I remember making Hopper die. I found a way to make Hopper die. If you made him jump, if you went all the way to the screen, and I got told off for doing this, right? Because I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill Hopper. And they said, oh, you can't do that. I was like, okay, right, I'm going to kill him. Hopper's going to die in this game. So what I did, to kill Hopper, you press the spacebar in the wrong point because he's supposed to jump. You go in a line, his little bunny called Hopper, and basically it jumps at the right time. Now, to kill him, go all the way to the end of the screen. He falls off the end, that's one way. And the other one, if you press spacebar at the wrong time, he kind of goes in the air, he hovers in the air and then just falls off the screen. It's like a massive hop, a massive leap for mankind, and falls off the screen. It's brilliant. And I had to do that when the teacher's back was turned, because I'd always do it. I was like, oh yeah. But yeah, it was the great moment for me. Right, I am going to go now because I haven't got long left. Where do you say? But the next Beans World 77 podcast will be literally every week. We're going to do one, and I want to do more things that scared me as a kid. Definitely more, because there is more to tell, kind of thing. I don't exactly know what what else I'm going to talk about? Probably, I'll probably just complain about stuff. Maybe, because that's what you do, isn't it? And who knows? I might talk about arcade games. Actually, no, I won't, because other people talk about them. But whatever it is, I will do it. So, friends, that is it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye for now.